There are just too many people that don't understand how the brain works, trying to explain to us how the brain works. Too many people that don't understand what thinking is, what learning is, what understanding is, trying to teach us, guide us, give us the step-by-steps on how to help students learn better when they don't necessarily understand how they learn better. Let me explain it to you really quickly. The human brain is made up of about 86 billion cells. 86 billion cells. It's the connectivity between those cells. It's the pathways formed by those cells. It's the neuroplasticity as the brain continues to evolve and grow and shape that generates thought, learning, consciousness, and understanding. There are many people out there today trying to convince us that there's a pathway that learning has to take, that students have to go from a step 1 to a step 2 to a step 3 to a step 4 before they can truly gain mastery, competency, and understanding. I'm here to tell you, it's completely wrong. You see, the various depths of understanding are not pathways or stepping stones to greater understanding. They are different types of understanding. They are different types of learning, different types of thinking. One doesn't lead to the other. A student doesn't have to master level 1 before they move to level 2, master level 2 before they move to level 3, master level 3 before they move to level 4. They are completely different ways of thinking, completely different pathways, completely different parts of the brain. 86 billion cells, and they all work a little bit differently, especially in their connectivity. You see, there are some people that would convince us that students have to have recall. They have to have basic understanding. They have to be able to memorize some facts and figures before they can actually apply those facts and figures. Well, that kind of thinking would tell me that my own kids would have to be able to tell me the difference between a spoke and a sprocket. They'd have to be able to name all the parts of a bike before they can go out and ride their bike. See, the reality is, my 4 kids, and none of them could tell you the difference between a spoke and a sprocket. But all 4 can get on and apply their learning. All 4 can get out there and actually do the work. It's different types of thinking. See, I used to teach social studies and language arts. As a social studies teacher, memorizing dates, memorizing names, memorizing when and where battles took place, extremely difficult for me. But I can sit down and debate constitutional law with you. I can evaluate the constitutionality of legislation. But ask me to memorize dates and names, completely different. One doesn't lead to the other. They're completely different. For example, let's say that you're asking a student to memorize the state capitals. And you ask a student to tell you the capital of the state of Michigan. One student memorizes Lansing, Michigan, which is the correct answer. Another student fails to memorize the flashcards, fails to memorize their notes, but they come up with the answer, Detroit, Michigan. Now, Detroit, the largest city in Michigan. It's the industrial hub of Michigan. Detroit is actually located on a body of water. It's right on the Detroit River between Lake Huron and Lake Erie. Now, let me ask you, which student knows more? The student that memorized Lansing, Michigan, or the student that inferred, based off of a bunch of other contextual clues, that it might be Detroit, Michigan? See, first of all, it's a false paradigm to say which student knows more because it all depends on what outcome you're seeking. Oftentimes in our classrooms, we mistake our quest for outcomes as our quest for trying to assess understanding and learning. As educators, it's our job to constantly assess what does a kid know. Trying to figure out what a kid knows allows us to position ourselves to teach them more. You see, it is different types of learning, not pathways of learning, that we need to be after, that we need to be measuring, that we need to be assessing. A person that simply memorizes every word of the Constitution doesn't necessarily have the skills to apply that in a courtroom as a litigator. I mean, shoot, the devil understands the Bible doesn't mean he applies the Bible. Completely different skills, completely different understandings and learnings. So don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for those people that tell you that a student has to go through step 1 before they go to step 2, before they go to step 3, before they go to step 4. Our job is to figure out what kind of learning and understanding we're truly after, and then assess that. Teach that and understand that with 86 billion cells, multiple pathways, multiple synapses and connections firing in a child's brain, it's our job to figure out the most direct route for that child.